Hello, everybody. I'm Mario Linhares, and I'm broadcasting from Rio de Janeiro. And this is SIPS of Science, episode number 19. And I have the honor of having with me here an habitué, Dr. Florian Kongoli. Hello, Dr. Florian. How are you?
Hello, Mario. How are you?
You're speaking from Montreal. How's the weather there?
Montreal. Well, the weather is fine. Sunny all day. At 6 p.m., it's 15 degrees Celsius.
And I have the honor of having here a good friend we've met in Rio de Janeiro and in Thessaloniki in Greece like 4 years ago. But it's a great honor of having here Professor Fernand Marquis. And Professor Ferdinand Marquis is former professor at the University of San Diego and Naval Postgraduate School in Monterrey. He's actually in Monterrey right now. And he's currently the CEO of two companies. He's also the founder of two companies that he's the CEO, United Nanotechnologies and Integrated Materials Technologies and Systems. I would like to welcome here Professor Fernand Marquis. It's a great honor of meeting you again after such a long time without talking to you. Hello, Professor.
It's a pleasure, indeed, to be with you and with Florian, following up on our previous discussions in Rio and Thessaloniki. Yeah, and getting ready to join you both in Phuket, Thailand.
Oh, it would be a pleasure. Let me ask you, what is the weather like in Monterrey now?
Well, it's very nice. It is in the 60s and it is sunny and it is typical Monterrey weather. Yeah.
Very good. Well, 60s for the ones who are not used to Fahrenheit, it's like 16 to 17 degrees Celsius, right?
Correct. Yes.
So probably we are in the same range of temperature. 15,
yeah, probably.
16,
well, in Rio de Janeiro right now, it's 19, between 19 and 18 degrees. A little windy. With the wind chill, it feels like 15 today. Today was a chilly day. Yes.
Not as warm as Rio.
No, not exactly. It's a little chilly because Rio is usually warmer this time of the year. But we've had like a chilly front. I'm not going to call cold front, but a chill front. Yes, from the Antarctica. But it's soon going to be very warm here. But let's get to work. This SIPS of Science, we are going to be talking today about the largest event on sustainability through technology and science, SIPS, the Sustainable Industrial Processing Summit that is going to take place from the 27th of November to the 1st of December in Phuket, Thailand. And Professor Fernand Marquis is here. We are going to talk specifically about the 6th International Symposium on New and Advanced Materials and Technologies. And he's one of the most relevant specialists in the field. So it's a great honor to have this talk. But I would like to start talking to Dr. Florian about specifically the general event, SIPS, Sustainable Industrial Processing Summit and Exhibition. 9 Nobel laureates, 600 of some of the greatest minds in the world, 600 scientists, and among them Professor Marquis. And what can we expect from SIPS, Dr. Florian? It's a countdown already. It's going to start in 24 days. Am I right?
24 days. You counted right. I didn't count them yet. We're still working. But 24,
you're still working. I'm on the countdown. I'm checking every day. I'm very excited to go into Thailand.
Because I really didn't count them. We're working. So, it's good to remind me, though, as we have 24 days. So seriously, yes, SIPS, as you know, follows the Flogen sustainability framework in various directions. For those that I wanted just to recap it a little bit shortly, we created this to clarify the confusion that existed in literature. When it was the first time mentioned in Rio de Janeiro in 1992. The concept, nobody knew about this, and it didn't even very recently, it didn't even, so it was not so popular. Now has become popular to be known as sustainability. But everybody was posting in it everything they hold dear. Whatever, you say, culture, the human rights, the the government, everybody was putting things on it in a irregular way. We're putting everything in one basket. It became a mix, and nobody knew what's the real meaning of the word it is. So why? Because the criteria, the actors, those that hinder or help sustainability were mixed together. So it was a mix without any meaning. That's why we divided the criteria from the actors, those that hinder again or help sustainability. So there are the three criteria are, and also this is important. People do not think this way. Politicians, if you hear them, they have confused. They mention a lot of sustainability. They mention, but the way they speak is not clear. So in order to be sustainable, we have to simultaneously, it's very important the word simultaneously, achieve the three criteria that you see there. Environmental protection is just one. Social advancement is only one. Economic growth is only one. Uh, Fulfilling individually those criteria is good, but you are not sustainable. In order to be sustainable, you have to fulfill simultaneously all of them. So these are the criteria to be sustainable. But how to achieve it? So how to achieve it? What are the actors that helps or hinder the sustainability? And there are three criteria for us. First is science and technology. Second is government and management, and education and civil society. The three of them. These are the three composite pillars or factors. Everything else falls under these three pillars. So they are equally important. It's a table of three pillars. Any of the pillars goes away, the whole structure goes down. We cannot speak about sustainability anymore. But there is an order of precedence also. Science and technology, we have to start with. Sure, with education also of civil society, because this prepares the young generation for science and technology, but also equally important government and management. Government in the political side, management in the industrial company side. So uh, Fernand, I say Fernand because we know each other for a long time. Professor Marquis, he basically is part of these three pillars. First, because he's dealing with science and technology. Second, because in one pillar. Second, because he has been professor and he's emeritus professor at the university, preparing the young generation. And now he is also founder of two companies that he is founder and managing them, so he has to manage them in a sustainable way. So basically, he has the three pillars. He represents the three pillars I just mentioned. So this is SIPS, where it is based from, and then we why there are three pillars. The pillars are very important. Science and technology includes all fields of science. That's SIPS. We have a 360 degrees, 50 symposia dealing with deep science subject in various fields. Uh, we have managing, because we have many managing symposia. We have CEOs participating, general directors, and so on. And then we have academics, university professor, all participating. So again, the field is 360 degrees, from the geology, mineral mining, mineral processing, extraction, refining, new production of metals, composite materials, advanced materials, intelligent materials, nanomaterials, nanotechnologies, technologies in medicine, you name it, 360 degrees. Like sending someone in the moon, you have to take care of all this, plus the legal aspect, plus the political aspect. So here we are at the Advanced Materials Symposium. This is the sixth edition, has been one of the most successful one all over the years, and Professor Marquis has been the chair of the symposium, minus one, because one of those years we dedicated to him. He had the symposium, bearing his name in his honor. So, and then he is so passionate about these areas and has been chairing this symposium with all his other co-chairs passionately, and making it one of the most successful symposia in the history of SIPS. So it's been continuous every year and very successful. So here, this is the background. This is the framework of this, where advanced materials says, and and Professor Marquis in it. Without advanced materials today, we do nothing. So that's how important it is.
Very good. Well, let's start. We have many scientists that watch us, but we have also businessmen and journalists like myself who are not very into science. So I would like to start asking Professor Fernand Marquis the definition of advanced materials.
Well, advanced is a term that refers to a material that is able to do, functions that other materials, have not been. So introduces, an innovation into the system. And this symposium focuses on advanced and new materials. So a material may be new and not advanced. A material may be advanced but not new. The symposium focuses on both advanced and new materials. So we are talking about transformative materials. So a transformative material is a material that when introduced is able to perform functions not previously enabled, and down the road make a process and a system more effective. And the symposium focus on these transformative materials and technologies with applications on energy and environment primarily, but we extend into applications in health and medicine, and we covered all domains of sustainable development. So transportation, electricity and heat generation, industry, agriculture, construction, and we attract, colleagues, scientists, professors from all over the world. So the number of abstracts that we have been able to harvest in these symposiums have been typically between 140 to this year 50, 54 abstracts have been submitted. Mm-hmm. As you know, this year we are experiencing some challenges on participation created by the COVID-19 and currently the situation that we have with conflicts in different parts of the world. But we hope that we will continue, harvesting the success of previous meetings.
Very good, very good. Dr. Florian, Professor Fernand Marquis said something very interesting about the worst of the pandemic. I don't know if I can say that, but the worst of the pandemic is over. Yes, we are still dealing with the COVID-19, but that lockdown and blocking everything. How is Thailand about COVID?
No, Thailand is open. Thailand there is open completely since 1st of July. Everybody can come, even those people that are not vaccinated. They can come with a PCR test. That's all. They don't need the vaccines. Those that are vaccinated, they don't need even PCR test. They can go, immediately there. So it's completely open, and the atmosphere it's perfect. It's crowded. So basically Phuket has returned, and Bangkok has returned to normality.
Okay.
And then you can see in the TV, etc. What Fernand was referring to, it is the situation in China. China is going up, and they are still under a strict limitation of movement, and so basically, so that's one of the issues that we have. But some of the Chinese colleagues will do the presentation live in Zoom. But I think we are in the right track. This is not an issue anymore. Only in China, the number of COVID cases are going up, and they have a strict zero policy, which you used to have before, but they have this strict policy, so the movement and the traveling of people might not be so easy from China, but those that have promised that they're going to do the presentation in Zoom. So we are looking actually very good. We have advanced materials. It is a complete 3-day packed symposia with presentations. So it is actually much better than in the beginning when we started. So this is sure we had a peak at 150 140 that Marcus mentioned, but this this is in Thailand, and then since it's Thailand, Chinese participation was supposed to be highest, but and then we are here, but it's looking pretty good. Thailand in COVID, it's basically gone. Nobody speaks about COVID anymore in Thailand, so everything is it's normal. We are looking forward to a very successful event.
Very good. And let's talk again to Professor Marquis. You're talking about advanced materials and the symposium. I would like first, before moving on, I would like to show a video here about the advanced materials and the symposium that we're going to have with some information. Then I would like to ask you some more questions about it. Okay, so let's go there.
Sure.
Well, that's it. That's the 6th International Symposium on New Advanced on New and Advanced Materials and Technologies. This is the official name. It's one of the 50 symposia we are having at SIPS, right? And before talking to Dr. Florian about this, I want to ask Professor Marquis. You said that you're going to have over 50 papers that are going to be presented, 50 presentations, scientific presentations. What can we expect of this environment? Because you have 50 presentations on materials, but at the same space, you're going to gather other topics, other symposia. How does this mix influences the talk? Because you're not talking about only materials in the symposium. In the other symposium, you're going to have probably like nanotechnology. On the other, you're having energy, and even COVID. We are going to be talking about. We've just talked about COVID, how to face problems with COVID and the consequences. How does this atmosphere of multi sector science influences, and how is it positive, Professor Marquis?
Well, the symposium are synchronized, and they are organized in a way that each of the participants has specific interests that are covered, in specific symposium. So a participant can attend the presentation in one of the symposium, and then if he is interested in attending a presentation in the other symposium, he can do so. So the idea is creating synergies where people with different backgrounds, but with common interests, can intertwine, and establish connections that eventually will drive them to discuss the issues that they are currently researching or facing, and eventually establish future collaborations. So that's the idea. And the background, it's covering not only professors from universities, research scientists from institutions, engineers from private corporations, CEOs and so on, in order that ideas that are developed more at the fundamental level can be harvested and can be explored further, and eventually making a transition, into an application with, if possible, multi-funding. So a professor at a university that is researching on a specific item can make his presentation, and this presentation can attract interest, from, a CEO or a private corporation that can bring additional fund, or can attract attention from a research institute, or even from a funding agency at the federal level, at the government level, or at the private level. So that's the idea.
Very good. And you've mentioned something that Dr. Florian always says, the three pillars. Yes. So they are represented at SIPS, right? So you have business people, you have executives of some of the largest companies in the world that do invest in new technology. Not only do invest, they must invest in new technology in order to stay competitive. You have government officers, like politicians, and you have scientists, and some, like Professor Fernand, they are scientists and CEOs at the same time. They are from academia and from private sector. How is this blend, Dr. Florian? What is the magic of putting them together? It's not only science, but putting this into society, because you always mention over 98% of all scientific papers stay in academia.
Well, that's exactly that. In order, that's exactly what SIPS. That's why SIPS is unique. That's why what SIPS brings forward. So our focus is on sustainability. Sustainability, those are those three criteria. So protection of the environment, development of society, of social human being, and economic growth. So basically, we link fundamental to the application. So in order to be sustainable, you have to serve to the reality now. So this unfortunately, most of the sales, you said 95. Sometimes I'm not sure, because sometimes some statistics say 99% of academic papers stay in the shelf of the library. Why? Because there are different reasons about it. First is that the person that write those papers do not think about the application. The moment they publish a paper, there are some incentives in many universities that the moment you publish one paper, the interest on that paper is finished, unless it is a continuous project. So, and the interest on seeing it applied in different fields is not anymore. I mean, it doesn't even exist. Not only that, many of the people that write those, well, there are many good papers also. There is nothing wrong with them. The issue is that the others that dealing with applicable in an application like our technology companies, they are not aware of this. Very difficult to be aware of this fundamental development in various fields of science. For example, we use mathematics in our high-tech company. We use it all the time. but we have to be always in touch with new mathematical development because of our control and automation processes techniques. So it's very difficult to see the way these new development in mathematics are done unless you hear these people. So and this is one of the reasons, though, that another reason that 95% of academic papers stay in the library, because not only the first was the authors lose interest after that because they got whatever the incentive university offers. The other part is that these developments are done in kind of semi-isolation or purely isolation. The mathematical people basically they do not know this new theory where is going to be used. So they are passionate about the theory, but they're missing one aspect of application. And then so they put new theories. They stay in the library. Very good. They could be very high. Impact journals. Doesn't matter. They stay there and they do not see the applicability. So although they might have thousands of reference, this is a reference to a theoretical paper that doesn't see any light of applicability. So being done this in isolation, this is one of the reasons that without no contact to the field of science, this is another reason that they stay just in the shelves for a long time. And then SIPS bring all this together. Bring mathematicians, bring technologies, bring physicists, chemists, bring them together. Why? Because science is unique. It's one. We have divided science in different fields because of our ignorance in the past. We divided, physics from chemistry, even divide chemistry for organic, inorganic, you name it. So everybody was, narrowing his fields of research. So that's fine. It has to be narrowed and deep. That's okay. I agree with that. The issue is that it has to have enough interactions with outside the world to make it, applicable, to make it relevant. That's what SIPS does. So it brings 50 different symposia at different fields together. They can interact with each other. They know each other. What other development. And this is one of the strengths of the SIPS, and it's unique in the world. It does not exist anywhere else. But not only that, we bring together lawyers. We have a legal symposium that is dedicated to a famous Washington D.C. lawyer, because law is important also, especially for applicability of scientific development. You know that the Nobel laureates, these big discoverers that have discovered so many things that they got Nobel Prize. Do you know how many of those have not even filed a patent on their discoveries? Basically, almost none of them have even thought about patents. And actually, so there are other companies and the other people that have developed the theory, then they applied for patents. So if new development based on the discovery or on the new development done that for which they got the Nobel laureate, but they don't own the patent, they don't own anything. There are companies that are using there's nothing wrong with that also, because the purpose, the focus is different. But this what brings together. That's why we need the lawyers. And then now we need the politicians, because it's another pillar. Law, politics, management, direction of company falls under the government's pillar, government and management pillar. We need that. It's equally important. But government, it is so poor if they do not have solution offered by science. For example, now that we are in the energy crisis, what the government can do? It just, limit the use of energy. For example, they say in Europe, after 10 p.m. it will be dark. It will not be enough energy. That's the only means the government has. So some other means. But if there are no solutions, it's to limit, and it is just an administrative role. If you don't have, you just limit things. You just go in crisis mode. So, but if you deal with science, then you have the solutions. then you have a
Exactly.
solution. That's why equally important. But you have to need education to prepare the new scientists, so they are equally important. And if you work separately, forget it. The chances are that this table of three pillars will fall and the structure goes down. So that's why SIPS is based on this philosophy. That's why it's been successful. Professor Marquis mentioned that it's been a source of multi-dimension, multi-country, and multi-field of science cooperations. The start of many of these kind of multi-dimensional cooperation projects. So the cultures are breached, the field of science are breached, the temperament of people are breached. People become friends. So it's not anymore between colleagues, but it's science cooperation between scientists that are friends of different fields.
Very good. One thing that I would like to ask Professor Marquis, but before we ask him, I usually say that P of SIPS stands for paradise. Yes, so I'm going to show uh, uh, just a little of Phuket, so everybody who's watching us can get like, oh, I must go to SIPS because not only science, but also one of the most exquisite and beautiful places in the world. So let's take a look at what expects us in Phuket. As I always say, that P stands for paradise, right? But I want to ask Professor Fernand Marquis, how important is to hold a meeting like this, a summit like this, in a place like Phuket, like Rio de Janeiro, Cancun, in Cyprus also? I mean, Dr. Florian always chooses like a magnificent place. And how does it help this interaction between scientists and between sometimes having a cup of coffee with a businessman? How does this atmosphere of paradise helps the development of science?
Well, we all have our talents, and we are all of our interests. And these are only a few things that are important in being successful. Our mentors, our connections are very important. And SIPS is a very unique family because we have people from different domains at different levels of their careers. So we have the regular scientists, professors, engineers, and we have people in the beginning of their career, in the middle of their career, and people that are outstanding achievers that can play a very important role in mentor others that are in the beginning or in the middle of their careers. So, as you mentioned very well, we have nine Nobel Prizes attending, and typically every year we honor 5 or 6 scientists, academicians, This year, because we combine the meetings that should have been organized in 20 and 21 that were canceled due to COVID-19, now we have a very larger number. And these people that have been recognized achievers can play a very important role in mentoring others in the beginning of their careers. In addition to that, I think SIPS offer an opportunity for a better effectiveness in making the transition between more fundamental ideas into applications and in technologies. Dr. Florian mentioned very well that many times academicians and scientists are very excited in developing a fundamental idea. They produce an outstanding publication. They have recognition for that. But quite often, they do not pursue the idea and make the transition between the fundamental idea and the applied system. And SIPS offer that opportunity. And the talents that are required to produce a fundamental idea are slightly different or considerably different from the talents that are required to make the transition. And so quite often professors and scientists, once they develop the fundamental idea, they just leave it behind and go on to develop other ideas. But our obligation to follow up on that fundamental idea, okay, and make the transition, so-called crossing the valley of that, is quite often not pursued. And therefore, applications are not, prototypes are not developed, applications are not found, systems are not developed, and these ideas are not integrated in our technologies at different domains. And this, of course, is something that is most desirable. And I think SIPS, due to the constitution and the people that come from different domains and different parts of the world, have the opportunity to offer, this additional benefit that is not encountered very frequently in other more conventional systems that focus on specific areas of science, at a fundamental level. So for me, this has been quite, a beneficial, effect of the participation, in the SIPS meeting, And we have seen many, young academicians, young professors and scientists, collaborating with more advanced mentors. Some of them actually have even starting, developing, collaborations with Nobel Prizes. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Our young, professor, from a regular university is becoming energized when he's developing a collaboration with a Nobel Prize, or developing a collaboration with the CEO of a company that is very much interested in following up on his, fundamental developments and assist him or her eventually in making the transition to the industry, and giving the young person an opportunity to see his innovation, applied, in industry, and make therefore a significant contribution to the challenges that we are observing now. Challenges not only on energy, on environment, challenges in health, challenges in medicine, and specifically advanced materials, okay, new materials are making that contribution at all these domains.
Very,
So
very.
this for me has been a sort of a rewarding experience to see that.
Excellent. Dr. Florian, Professor Marquis said something very interesting, and you sometimes, you usually mention that science involves repeating the experiences until you succeed. So sometimes I don't like to use the word fail because it's like a step. You have many steps reaching an objective. Uh, when you participate in an event like SIPS, that you have the possibility of this mix, as Professor Marquis said, like a young scientist exchanging ideas with a Nobel laureate, for example, or to a CEO, or even to another professor from another country that would be so difficult for him to meet otherwise. How does that speed up the process of reaching the objective in science, of course?
Well, actually, a lot. Again, when you develop things in isolation, if I use the terminology of Professor Fernand from Norway, used to say the dark labs. So normally scientific work, it is isolated work. But this is a good thing, but also there are disadvantages on that because you by being just focused on your theory and then you don't have a different point of views similar or in different fields. This makes you fail. You correctly said there is no failure, but it is unsuccessful effort, and without unsuccessful effort you cannot reach anything. Basically, there is no new development if you don't have a hypothesis, and hypothesis might be wrong, but until you prove it, you need to research, and then you can say, okay, that hypothesis is not true. I have to come up with a new hypothesis or to modify the original hypothesis. So basically, science in itself, it is a cycle. That's why it's called research. Research. It's not called a search because it doesn't end there. You can search once and find out that this doesn't work. Then you modify the hypothesis. That's why it's called research. And that's significant. Research.
That's a very interesting point. I've never thought about this. I had never thought about this before.
Well,
The
search is a search.
linguistic approach on this. Yeah, it is.
So it's a research because you cannot reach the conclusion just from the first search. So, well, if you're lucky, you can. It's fine. Lucky, or you find a better way. So the issue is that's not what's happening in science. You have a hypothesis, so you have to research. So in this case, if you are in SIPS and you have the opportunity to discuss, to show your ideas to a different public, not just those that are in your field. Remember, being in your field, you are a little bit focused and very narrow-minded. But the other fields might have developed other theories that can be applicable in yours, can reflect yours, can deflect your ideas, can help your ideas. So that's why SIPS normally decreases a lot this period of so-called failure, of having a not successful result, because you have the opinion of so many scientists of different fields. It's very important because science is one. As I said, we have divided the science and then we went to the isolation, but SIPS is bringing together. There's no more inorganic or organic chemistry. Okay, by the way, there is another paradox today. We have Academy of Sciences and we have also Academy of Medicine. So
medicine is not science.
A person from a different planet will say, oh, so we have science and we have medicine. That means medicine is not science. Sure, medicine has its own specificities. He has some more arts and so on. But at the end of the day, if it is not considered science, we are not standing aware. We are just making a futile exercise. So these are divisions from the past, which with SIPS is making them disappear. For example, we have 3 medical symposia, but the most successful one in this SIPS is medical symposium. Huge pack, So there are 3 medical symposia. Is oxidative stress symposia is one. It is technologies in medicine second, and the third one COVID, and infectious diseases.
Yeah, just to interrupt you. Sorry to interrupt you. Today I talked to Dr. João Ricardo. He's a former Medics Without Border. And we were talking about his presentation at SIPS. And he was very excited. He told me he's going to hundreds of symposiums and conference, and he's never seen anything like SIPS. It's something really amazing.
Yeah, that he has participated a couple of times there, so he knows very well. And he has he knows basically everything because he's a doctor, but also he's also a politician. So he's invited everywhere.
And he worked directly. He worked directly in the front line of COVID. Yes, in Rio de Janeiro, and he did a great job. So he's going to share this experience. It is very important. This.
Exactly. His topic is myths and something like this. It's the title of the presentation. It is there. So, by the way, we have a short video presenting all the topics and the authors in the All Medicine Symposium. I think it's ready. Just to check it and then. So, but to turn to our theme, why this is so for us, medicine is science. Okay, so medicine uses mathematical formula for statistics. So we have a mathematical symposium. Medicine uses materials. Without materials, is a dead person. It's a dead, field. So science is the huge development of science today is because of materials, advanced and new materials. That's why I mentioned this. That's why we are organizing, and Professor Marquis is organizing advanced materials, and with application in health. So these advanced materials, when doctors come there, we have about 50 doctors coming. So medical, I'm a doctor in chemistry, but I mean medical doctors. Okay, 50 medical doctors coming. So they, in their field, they need materials. So we are bringing them to the forefront of the material research, advanced and new materials. It is closely related. But the technology today, I think I have an echo here. Probably you should decrease my volume. This is what offers is also technologies. Name it modern medicine today is nowhere without the technologies, and you see it from the measuring of the blood pressure, the imaging techniques from radio, from PET scan, from CT scan, from medicine cannot exist without technology. And how you find this technology, how you develop new technology. If you are in isolation, you don't know the material, you don't know the materials, if you don't know technology, if you don't know mathematics, because all these technologies are based on mathematical modeling, are based in statistics, are based in so many things. So, that's why we have an advanced material symposium chaired by Fernand Marquis, and we have medical symposium in one place, and we have solid state chemistry in one room. We have solution chemistry in one room. We have geochemistry in the other room. We have, you name it, intelligent materials in the other room. We have corrosion in the other room, and we have medicine in the other room, and you name it. So all these are so related, and this is what brings together SIPS. That's unique in the world.
Very good. You mentioned rooms, and I'd like to show everybody before we continue. I'd like to show where SIPS is going to be held. So let's take a look at the rooms, the hotel. As I said, it's going to be held at the Hilton. Well, that's it. That's Hilton Phuket Arcadia. Great hotel, huh? Tell us a little bit, Dr. Florian, a special deal for scientists because scientists, businessmen, and business people and politicians that go, they will be so focused on the lectures, on the symposia, on the plenaries, that they won't have much time to go to the beach, for example. Do you have a special deal if somebody wants to arrive previous to
Yeah, correct.
the symposium and or stay a little longer? What is
Yeah,
it? Tell us.
that's what we normally do. So we choose the best places as a gift for science engineers that you don't normally see science and engineers in the best places in the five-star hotels, but that's a different story apart. And follows our philosophy that the best place in the world first has have to to be for scientists and engineers. Why? Because they have the greatest contribution in the world and especially on sustainability. Scientists are known, as I mentioned it this frequently. The scientists are known as working horses that get small credits for mouses. So they're, that's this something that we want to to change, and this is a good big goal. Being in the best places is not something that uh, to distract their attention. Actually, it is a very healthy competition. Why? And this is in many of those interviews we did so many participants, you can experience this. You mentioned Dr. João Ricardo, the medical doctor and politician from Rio de Janeiro. When he was in our meeting, he has been a couple of times there, and he said, "Mind you, I've not been in the swimming pool. I've not been in the beach. I was there listening, so seeing so interesting in your session, and I couldn't go there." Uh, so also Professor Jean-Marie Dubois once said, "Okay, it's very hard to convince our people that here in the middle of paradise, we start working from 7 a.m. in the morning and we finish at 11 or midnight during the dinners and entertainment because dinner entertainment is networking. It is after the session is networking, is enjoying. So it is a full 7 to 11 to midnight work. So, but the other side, the good nature, it inspires you. It serves as an incentive for new ideas. When you are in a good area and you retreat, this becomes a fertile ground for new ideas, scientific ideas, many ideas, new projects, etc., etc. But this healthy competition is always to have a balance. That's why, to come to your question, we are sure that with the hotel we have a deal. 5 days, up to 5 days before, up to 5 days after, people can stay on vacation with the same low prices. As you saw, that's a five-star hotel, beachfront hotel, and we have assured, as always, the very, very, competitive, not competitive, very, low prices, we can say. So you saw it. It's about 115, now it's less with the exchange rate. It's about 110 euros per night, up to two persons. So if you
Per
are
room,
two
not per person.
per room, so
Yeah,
per room
okay.
up to two
So,
person. So if you
okay.
are two person, you pay about 57 euros. If you are one, you pay 115, 110. Includes breakfast for two, if you are two or one. Includes all taxes, includes all service fees. So it's one of the best, deals you can have for science engineers. Why? Because we try, we have a special formula to keep the low prices in order to make it affordable to scientists of every country. So from developed, so we want to be all inclusive. So that's why we try to have the biggest, the highest, you know, the top hotels for scientists, engineers, because they deserve it. And
Very good.
this is our always what we do. And then being in such a great atmosphere is not just for pleasure. It is an inspiration to create new scientific ideas, new cooperation, and so has been very a formula that has been very attractive and very productive. Probably Professor Marquis can can witness on this, because he's been there with us for so long.
Very good. Now, Professor Marquis, I want to ask you a question about this. Uh, First time I went to SIPS was in Rio de Janeiro. Yes. And I was really impressed because in Brazil, we don't have much contact with science. Yes. I mean, regular, not there are many scientists, but regular people outside science. Yes. I'm a journalist, for example. We don't have much contact. And I had the opportunity of interviewing uh, six Nobel laureates I interviewed. Yes, only in Rio de Janeiro. Yes, and being together with Dr. Florian for the past 5 years, I've talked to 12 Nobel laureates. I counted another day, some other day. How special is this? Because in no other summit, in no other conference, you can meet so many Nobel laureates. I mean, 9 Nobel laureates in Phuket now. Uh, how does this make a difference?
Well, let me follow up a little bit on the points that you and Dr. Florian made. You made the point that many times it takes many repetitions for a specific experiment to be successful. It has been said that Thomas Alva Edison have tried 3,000 times before he was successful in making the filament for the light bulb. We can only imagine the determination and the interest that a scientist would have to make an experiment 3,000 times before achieving success. Now, he was obviously doing this by himself, and we wonder if he had an opportunity to participate in meetings like SIPS, if we would have need to repeat the experiment 3 times. One of the things that I find more interesting is that when after the presentations we meet with specific people that share part of our interests, and we share with them what we are doing and how we are doing, we realize that many times we are not successful because we are missing something. Okay, we are too focused. We are not seeing wide enough to see what you are missing, and therefore enabling our success. And many times when we share these with our colleagues, we are alerted to some things that we are missing, some little small details. And it is the introduction of these little small details that is going to enable us to be successful. And many times, the introduction of these small details, of these suggestions, are made from people that are not exactly in our fields, but that are in different fields. But when they look at what we are sharing with them, they have a much wider view and, alert us for some things that we are missing. So people that are more mature and more experienced, like the honoraries that we have, or people that are Nobel Prizes, they sometimes, have great insights and great advice to be given, And what Dr. Florian mentioned, it's true. We have outstanding presentations being given by Nobel Prizes. And it is amazing, that most of these people have not filed patents or have their discoveries not followed up. And it was something else, okay, or someone else that follow up on. So that contribution that is given by more mature and experienced and successful people to all of us, I think it's difficult to measure, but I think it's very important to all of us. in my opinion.
Very good. Well, we are. Go ahead, Dr. Florian.
Yeah, just to follow a little bit, just an expression. While Fernand was speaking, it reminded me what Professor Amatore, Christian Amatore from France. He used to be the scientific advisor of Jacques Chirac, the president of France at the time. And in my conversation, in one of the interviews, actually on camera, he mentioned something. One day he told Jacques Chirac the following. This is how fundamental science works. It's like somebody goes to a vendor machine to buy Coca-Cola, for example, okay, and he put a coin, and then he by error he chooses an orange juice, and the orange juice come out, okay. Then he sees orange juice. Oh, this is not what I wanted, and he leaves the orange juice there and walks by. Another person comes in the same vending machine, and he sees the orange juice there, because somebody else had forgotten that, because he didn't want that. And then he said, "Oh, this is exactly what I wanted." So this is SIPS. So you find solutions in different fields that are in different rooms.
Interesting. Very, very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Well, we are getting to the end of our program. Before we reach to the final considerations, I want to show a video here. Why engineers? Because both of you are engineers, I would like to show why engineers should go to SIPS. Not should, must go to SIPS. And right after that, I'll have your final consideration.
We have also one for scientists, but it's okay. We do the engineers.
Well, let's do the engineers, especially because Professor Marquis is in the video. So
yes,
it's a way of honoring him too.
Flogen meetings are unique in the sense that they combine science, engineering, and fun.
Here they talk science, they talk engineering, they talk technology.
And indeed the very relations between the science, the engineers and the politicians. That is a framework which is absolutely essential.
It's very important for me to understand how interact, let's say, the science with the sustainability and the social responsibility.
I meet a lot of people, normally not used to meet. It should be nice to actually meet them and have a discussion longer with them.
And when you bring people together with different backgrounds and different interests, you create new technology and directions, and that's very important.
Been an interesting conference in which we had met and had interesting discussions.
We've had some excellent discussions, talk about things that need to happen, things that clients need that we have not done yet. There's some very positive developments going to come from the people that are here working together.
It has been very, very useful in establishing very successful collaborations that we have had. This, in my opinion, is very unique.
Very good results. I'm really excited and very happy to be here present.
More engineers are present at this conference. We have so many problems in the world, and engineers finally need some recognition that they are only possible to solve problems, and that also the industry becomes aware about that some business models will not work in the future anymore.
So you can see how different companies not only incorporate in their vision the sustainability of a guide.
I think it always helps to get new views of everything. Being a manager is really about building strong teams, and this is what you do here. This is team working, this is connecting.
Until the chance you can work together, wow, wonderful. If it's not, still you'll be able to learn more on the network of the people from different industries. It's a tremendous reward.
Summit of this type allows us to expose our effort to other engineers for criticism, for suggestion, for improvement. So it's a continuous scientific process that can, in my opinion, can only be done, in any case, can be best done by a summit such as one organized by this magnificent conference.
Well, that's it. If you are an engineer, you must be at SIPS from the 27th of November to the 1st of December in Phuket Island in Thailand. Join some of the greatest minds in the world. 600 scientific papers are going to be presented. We're going to have scientists from 80 countries. Yes, and 9 Nobel laureates, over 50 symposia. It's a great opportunity to discuss your research. As Dr. Florian brought today, the research, right? The search again. I like that. Serious. I'm going to adopt that. And Dr. Florian, 24 days away. I'm seeing this for the first time. Can I submit abstract, or is it too close to it?
If you do it in the next 2 days, yeah, I can.
Until the end of the week.
Well, as you see here, it's completely. So this is, by the way, the site of SIPS International Symposium. We do it all the time. Of
just to mention, Dr. Florian, the link to the website is here in the description.
It is there, exactly. Yeah, but what I meant is that if we see this is the entire program, that there are few places left in a 3-day program. So we can adapt, but you have to be fast. So we can still accept, we have some restrictions because we have to send the program to print. Unless we drop the program in paper, but we like it because it's always good to have a book with all the abstracts. But this has also advantage and disadvantage because we need to stop at one point to print. But we can still accept some of the abstract, the new abstracts coming. Actually, today we got about 5 new abstracts, and we struggle to put them somewhere in the right subject, in the right this. It's not easy, easy job to create the grid of this. So, but still we can accept some, but have to be fast. And then it's still time to do it. Again, we would have more time if we drop the printing of the program. That might be more environmentally friendly, but people like, especially because we have the program in the laptop, we have the program in iPad, we have the program in iPhone. There are applications in iPhone. You don't need actually the book. But it is useful. People are used that way, so we try to print it. So, but still, we can accept some abstract. But it is coming to an end very soon. And then again, I want to mention this SIPS is not a show of some people, and the others are spectators. People is a show of all actors. So you come and present your work. Even if you are not sure, if it is not good, or you are not sure it's good or not good, it doesn't matter. Even in the history of failure, of so-called failure, just present it. It's helpful. Somebody will give you an idea. Oh, follow this. Probably will send you in the right direction. So there is no restriction in SIPS. There is no censorship. As long as it is science, it's not respectful. We do not take sides. We don't take this theory is good, this theory is not good, this better than this. No, it is not our role. It is in between scientists to discuss, to find the good ways. We are all the way respectful. None we've seen, he's not done nothing this time, not successful. That's not who you are. It's open for everyone. As long as it is science, sure. We are not there for football or for.
And it's 100% apolitical, right?
Apolitical. We don't take sides in politics, and take sides in technology. We don't take sides in scientific discoveries. We encourage the debate. We are open to all points of view. There is no censorship. It is a field where everybody can feel himself or herself without any worry. Again, any discovery, any history of not successful. It's good to present it. It gives good ideas to others to eliminate this 10 times failing before achieving a success. So this is SIPS, and this has been so successful over the years. So welcome. It is a show of everyone. It's a show of everyone. Meaning,
very good.
well, it's not somebody, 3 or 4 people in a panel discussion. The others are hearing what they're saying. Sure, we have panel discussion. Sure, we have roundtable discussion for each symposium.
Mm-hmm.
It is in the program. The white triangles are there for roundtable discussion. But it is to participate. Everybody is an actor. That's so. Feel free to be an actor, not a spectator in science. It's much more productive. It's much more effective. So, and then when you do this in a paradise, in the beach, where we have every day, we have a dinner and show, and everything is included in one registration fee, lunches and dinners and the entertainment. So this is the best fertile ground for new ideas and new cooperation and new multi-dimension and multidisciplinary project. But I mean, I say this, but Fernand has already witnessed this over the years, I guess.
Very good. Well, I'm going to give the word to Professor Fernand Marquis, and for your final considerations, and you can make a comment on what Dr. Florian has just said, because you've witnessed a lot of editions of SIPS.
That's correct. I have been, I'm pleased and honored to say that I have been a participant in SIPS for many, many years. And I always, appreciate the feedback from our colleagues, and the feedback has always been very good. We have great presentations, and that are quite often followed up by individual discussions of people that have common interests. And there has been several collaborations that have been initiated and that became very successful, and they were nucleated at SIPS. So, and the environment is always very pleasant, full of camaraderie. So I certainly, second, the recommendations of Dr. Florian. And I look forward to see you all in Phuket,
Very good. Thank you very much, Professor Marquis. And Dr. Florian, your final considerations.
Yeah, you see, Mario has been a friend of scientists now. So before we met each other, he was not able. I mean, he was not had contact with scientists. So now he probably has interviewed more scientists than any journalist.
Probably. I was counting another day. It was close to 80 in the past 4 years.
So he's.
Maybe it passed already, because I counted this like 3 months ago. So almost 100 now.
So it's continuing. So this is what we developed, and this is our witness, the 3 of us here.
Yes.
So we had interviews together in Thessaloniki, where Mario was there, me and you for Artists of Science, and then
I interviewed him in Rio. I interviewed Professor Marquis
exactly in Rio. I've been in Rio in several occasions. So and then.
But the best, sorry to interrupt, Dr. Florian. The best was not the interview; it was off the camera. We were walking in the ruins that were like, I don't know, 1,000 years old. I don't remember how old they were, but they were very old. Yes, where
2,000 years old,
the Great.
3,000.
Yes.
Yeah, in Thessaloniki.
Yeah. So
we had a very good walk.
Yeah,
we had a very good walk at the time. I remember that. It was very, and there are many people coming from Thessaloniki, by the way. There are many authors coming from Thessaloniki, and they have sent papers, and we have not Thessaloniki, but from Patras, and we have the Vice President of European Research Council coming. He's also from Greece. So there's so many things. Many of the people that we met in Thessaloniki that year, they have been coming to SIPS. So
Great.
I think it's you name it, Professor Reinhardt. There are many coming from that meeting. I have to have a list. But Yeah.
This I bought in Thessaloniki. Just a coincidence. I didn't plan, but this I bought in Thessaloniki. So I found it really beautiful and I brought it as a souvenir.
Yeah, so when we were in Thessaloniki, what year? I forgot.
2018.
When?
2018. No,
Yes.
no, earlier.
No, I think it was 2018. It was after Rio.
Oh, in the beginning. March, yes. Before summer.
Well, I don't remember. No, it was winter. It was pretty cold.
Yeah, before.
I think it was around this November, December. I don't remember exactly. Probably 10th of December, around that. But it was pretty cold.
We had a very, very, very good time there. So you see,
Excellent.
the small world, and SIPS makes the world look so small.
Science without borders.
Science without borders, yes.
And
if there is no border. It is only a science, and the sustainability also.
Exactly. We've divided science into many fields, and we've divided the world into many countries. And SIPS gets away the fields, puts the fields together, and the countries together.
Exactly. Under one roof. That's the magic of SIPS. Everything is under one roof.
Everything under one roof, and when you put science and art together, you have 1 + 1 = anything you want, right?
Exactly. So by the way, that's the new mathematics of SIPS. SIPS new mathematics is 1 + 1 makes 5, 10, 20, whatever you want.
Whatever you want, exactly. Well, Professor Marquis, thank you very much for being with us tonight. It was a great honor meeting you again. And Dr. Florian, thank you once again for this opportunity. As you said, probably I'm the journalist who has interviewed the greatest scientists in the world and counting, right? I hope to reach the 500. When I reach 500, you have to give me a plate.
We have to award you in SIPS.
Oh, thank you very much. I'll be glad to. Well, as I said, thank you very much for your presence here today, Dr. Florian, Professor Marquis, and you who are watching us live or on demand later, because this interview is going to be on Flogen Star Outreach. Yes, both the website, flogen.org, and also on YouTube. Just go there, Flogen Star Outreach. And also on Dr. Florian's personal LinkedIn and Facebook, right? And so you can watch it anywhere. It's the same material. And we'll be together also on Twitter. I forgot that. And we'll be together from the 27th of November to the 1st of December, together with some of the greatest minds in the world. And you have an opportunity of being there with us. Just book as soon as possible your ticket to Thailand. And for more information, you're going to have here in the description. Well, Linhares, I'm broadcasting from Rio de Janeiro. Today we have 3 countries again: United States, Monterrey, Professor Marquis, Montreal, Canada, and I am from Rio de Janeiro. I'm in Rio de Janeiro. It's been a pleasure being with you guys, and see you next Thursday with the next SIPS of Science. See you there.
It is a pleasure. See you in Phuket.
See you in Phuket, Professor. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.